A teenager named Ally has a sickness known as lupus. This means her immune system attacks her own body instead of viruses or germs. She feels weak most of the time and has become very sensitive to sunlight, so she can't go outside and therefore doesn't have any friends. Today is Ally's 16th birthday, but the only people at her party are her rich parents and the servants. At that moment she receives a video call from her favorite pop star who wishes her a happy birthday. This is a gift from her parents, who paid him to send the message. Ally loves it, but she is also frustrated because this cute guy saw her sick face. Later, Ally peels off some dead skin in front of the mirror and takes all her medicines. Then she asks an AI how to make friends. However, the AI's ideas all need her to go outside, which she can't do. It also mentions meeting people on forums, but Ally wants real human contact. The AI's next idea is to get a pet, but Ally is allergic, so she closes her laptop with annoyance. Afterward, Ally gets in the pool by using a special chair that lowers her gently. She dives in and stays underwater for a while to rest, but this also makes her have strange visions. A strange scientist is sedating her and bodies that look like her are floating in tubes. When one of these bodies opens her eyes, Ally wakes up and realizes she's almost out of air. She struggles to swim, so her mother Georgia guides her until she's back on the chair. Sometime later, Ally's parents have a party with a bunch of rich people to present their Project Elysium. It's a libertarian utopia with clean water and air, where survivors can live while the rest of the world crumbles. It's located in a completely sovereign state island and comes with the latest technology and public health care. Some guests ask about Ally, but her parents explain she can't be around strangers because she could catch something. Meanwhile, Ally watches the party on the security cameras. She notices a waiter taking food outside and follows him on the screen to discover that there are teens on the beach. Ally decides to cover her body as much as possible and sneaks out of the house, which is easy because everyone is distracted by the party. Two boys on the beach think she's an old lady. Ally takes off her sunglasses to show her young face and tries to chat with them, but she's very awkward and can't really connect. The boys walk away and Ally can hear them mocking her skin condition. She thinks coming was a mistake and is about to leave, but Brooke offers her a beer so she stays to befriend her. In the house, Georgia brings some cake for Ally, only to find her gone. She immediately sends her guards out to find her. On the beach, Ally is learning all the gossip about the friend group. She takes her first sip of beer ever and it makes her cough. At that moment the bodyguards arrive and try to take her away, but Ally refuses to leave and complains when a guard tries to touch her. Suddenly Ally starts coughing really badly, yet the guards are busy running after the boys because they're recording them. Minutes later the guards bring Ally back to the house with Brooke and mention the beer. Georgia immediately freaks out and Brooke tries to defend Ally, so the guards drag her away. Georgia continues to scold Ally, making her feel awful. That night, Ally searches for Brooke on social media. However, she decides not to contact her, since she knows she won't ever see her again. At the same time, her parents discuss what happened and agree they have to do something because teenagers only get more rebellious with age. The next morning, the parents have a bunch of supplements for breakfast before talking to Ally. Georgia admits that having social interactions is good for mental health and stress, so she allows Brooke to hang out with Ally. Brooke shares that Georgia put her through some tests first and admits she's being paid to come, but the girls sincerely get along. Ally gives her a tour of the house and tells Brooke that nobody is allowed in her parents' office. For the next few days, Ally and Brooke have a lot of fun together. Brooke brings wigs for Ally to try on, they swim in the pool, watch movies, and even exercise together. One day, Brooke asks if Ally's parents are Russian because she's heard them speak it. Ally explains that they have business deals all over the world, so they speak many languages. Their company finds plants that can cure illnesses, and they're real health nuts. They adhere to a very strict eating regimen, everything is vegan, and they can only eat between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Brooke disapproves of all the supplements in the fridge and teaches Ally how to make soup from scratch, but the servants have to bring a knife because they're usually kept out of Ally's reach. Sometime later Brooke draws eyebrows on Ally's face to improve her looks. She also removes her bandana, revealing the few patches of hair on her head. Brooke proceeds to shave them and they end up sharing a kiss. Meanwhile at the spa, Ally's parents are watching it on all the security cameras. Georgia is worried about Brooke's influence on Ally and says she doesn't trust her, but her husband Jeff thinks Ally having a friend is a good thing. When Brooke goes home, she surprises her wheelchair-bound brother Robbie with the medicine she stole from Ally's house. She admits she feels bad for stealing since the family has been nice to her. Robbie tells her it's fine because the family is very suspicious. He's tried researching Jeff and Georgia but he hasn't found a single picture of them. That night, someone enters Ally's room. She dreams again about the mysterious scientist and this time she hears him talking in Russian. Next to her, there's an open body with the heart exposed. When a tube full of blood wraps around her neck, Ally wakes up. She's so disturbed by the dream that she calls Brooke, who is taking care of Robbie. He's currently throwing up because of the medicine. Ally tells Brooke about the dream and asks her to come over, but Brooke has to stay with Robbie so she can only keep her company over the phone. The next day the girls look for a movie to watch and Brooke finds a CD with old family movies, so she puts it on. The video shows Ally arriving at this house as a child, and Ally says that was the last day she felt well. Brooke notices that after a decade, Georgia looks the same. Ally shares that her mother died right after giving birth to her and she never knew her father, but she was lucky to be adopted by Georgia and Jeff. In return, Brooke shares that her mother is schizophrenic and her father isn't a good person, so she only sees him every 2 or 3 years. Brooke asks Ally if she trusts her parents, considering they act kinda creepy. Since they've spent millions of dollars trying to cure her, Ally takes offense to Brooke's implications. An argument ensues, so Brooke leaves. Ally keeps watching the video and sees herself hiding in a strange room. Georgia told her that they waited for her for too long before hugging her. Afterward, Jeff finds Ally crying because she thinks she can't make things better with Brooke and will never have a friend again. Jeff comforts her but doesn't say much. Sometime later, Ally is sitting in the living room and doesn't see an old lady watching from outside. Soon the lady comes inside and Ally asks her what she wants. The woman says she wants Ally before jumping on her, yelling that she needs it before biting Ally's arm. Thankfully, the guards arrive and drag the woman away. While Jeff scolds the guards for their terrible security measures, Georgia takes care of the wound. Ally mentions that the woman looked sick and acted as if she knew her, but Georgia brushes her concerns off and says it was just a random vagrant. Meanwhile, Robbie and Brooke search for the contents of the medicine on the dark web and learn that it doesn't treat lupus. What they have will actually turn any person into a vegetable. Brooke leaves a voicemail for Ally apologizing for what happened and asking to fix their relationship. While Ally listens to it, she sees someone sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night. The next morning, Ally has a slight argument with her mother and convinces her to let her see Brooke again. In the evening, the girls make dinner together. Georgia continues to disapprove, but she still agrees to try their food and even says it's good. She also tells Brooke that she understands she can be tough, but she'd like them to get along. Brooke only says she appreciates being allowed in the house and that she truly cares about Ally. Suddenly both Georgia and Ally start to feel dizzy, and Brooke confirms she put a sedative in their food as they pass out. Moments later, Ally wakes up in Brooke's car and freaks out. Brooke tries to explain that her parents are making her sick on purpose, but the distraction causes them to crash. At the mansion, Jeff returns to find Georgia waking up. A servant wants to call the police, but Jeff stops her and says they have their own people. In the hospital, Brooke isn't reacting to any treatments. Dr. Morrissey discovers that Ally has an extremely rare blood type and they can't find matching donors. When Jeff arrives, Morrissey tells him that Ally doesn't have lupus and that he wants to run some tests, but Jeff stops him and announces his private physician will take care of her. In the meantime, 2 guards are ransacking Brooke's apartment. Robbie complains about their abuse of power, so they break his computer and threaten to kill him if he ever comes near Ally's family. Later, Ally is at home looking better. She thanks her parents for not pressing charges but also concludes she can't trust anyone. Ally still wants to know if Brooke is okay, so Georgia promises to keep an eye on her progress but forbids Ally from seeing her again. That night, Ally dreams about waking up in a car again, however her parents are driving now. When they turn around, they have really creepy expressions on their faces. At that moment, Ally wakes up and decides to call the hospital to ask about Brooke. Morrissey tells her that Brooke is in a coma and informs her that she doesn't have lupus. A furious Ally bursts into her parents' office and asks why they didn't tell her she doesn't have lupus. Georgia claims that they wanted to be sure it was true, so they sent her file to several institutions. All other doctors agree she does have lupus, so Morrissey just made a mistake. Without a word, Ally leaves their office. Later, while Ally is watching the old videos, Jeff gives him the reports from the other doctors. Ally refuses to go through all those papers, so she admits she overreacted and tells her dad to let it go. At the hospital, Robbie visits Brooke and has a breakdown, yelling at her for not waking up. When Morrissey comes to do a checkup, he informs Robbie that Ally's parents volunteered to pay for Brooke's treatment. However, Robbie is still suspicious and theorizes that they use Ally as the face of their charity to collect money that they keep for themselves. Afterward, Morrissey decides to research Ally's blood type, known as golden blood. He looks up its medical applications and finds an article about Jeff and Georgia's secretive life extension lab. When a nurse points out it's late, Morrissey decides to go home, and doesn't see another car following him. In the middle of the road, Morrissey gets a flat tire. He calls a repair station, but they're 2 hours away, so he decides to fix it himself. At that moment, another car stops nearby and the driver offers to help him. Morrissey hands him a tool, and the guy uses it to strike him on the head a few times, killing him. That night, Ally spits her medicine and flushes it in the toilet. Afterward, she sees her mother leave the house, so she follows her into a room in the garden. It appears to be a spa, yet Georgia is nowhere to be seen. When Ally hears the guards, she decides to go back. In the garden, she's startled by a figure in the shadows and accidentally drops her phone. After picking it up, she doesn't see the figure anymore. The next morning, Ally's parents are worried because she's eating more and faster than usual. They ask her if she's taking her medicine, and she claims she has. Then she spends some time in the pool and her parents notice she's swimming much better. During dinner, Jeff compliments Ally's bright skin, and she says it was thanks to the sun she got while swimming. Georgia gets angry because sunlight can give her rashes, so Ally promises to stay inside tomorrow. Before bed, Ally throws her medicine in the toilet again. When she brushes her teeth, she discovers some red drops, and suddenly she throws up lots of blood all over the sink. Brooke appears in the mirror and begs her to wake up, confirming this is just a dream. At the same time, Brooke finally awakens in the hospital. The next morning, Ally wakes up feeling weak again and she isn't really hungry. She realizes that her parents are putting her medicine in her food to make her sick again, so she makes sure to throw it up in the bathroom. Later she tries to call Brooke, but her line is down. Then she tries to use her computer but her parents have changed the Wi-Fi password. She decides to watch the old video again and notices a door she's never seen before. At the same time, Brooke tries to call Ally but keeps getting an out-of-service message. She then convinces Robbie to get her out of the hospital. During dinner, Ally claims not to be hungry and says she'll go to bed early to rest, which pleases Georgia. After throwing the food in the toilet again, she pretends to be asleep when Georgia checks on her. Once her mother is gone, Ally sneaks out to return to the mysterious spa. Remembering the video, she searches the room until she finds a hidden button. When she presses it, a mirror moves to reveal a padlock. She tries her birthday and her parents' anniversary as passwords, but they don't work. Then she tries the day of the video, which finally opens the secret door and reveals some stairs. Ally goes down and finds a series of dark corridors. She wanders around until she finds a lab with a fridge containing several bags of her blood. On 2 stretchers, her parents are getting her golden blood through an IV drip. At that moment they open their eyes so Ally runs away, bumping into a servant on her way out. When she reaches the garden, she's captured by a guard. Afterward Ally finds herself strapped to a stretcher. She calls her parents monsters, but Jeff says they're actually very good parents and Ally's blood is 1 in a million. It's so rare that they charge $200,000 a pint. They confirm her lupus was induced by the medicine, and they did it to keep her compliant. Georgia reveals she's 57 and Jeff is 63. This is all thanks to Ally's blood, not to their diet or exercise. Jeff calls Ally the cure. Meanwhile Robbie and Brooke arrive in the area and search for a way to sneak into the mansion. In the lab, Georgia gets a sedative ready. Ally manages to remove her hands from the straps and grabs the needle to stab her mother with the sedative, then she runs away. She soon makes it to the beach and tries to think of what to do. Thankfully Brooke finds her and agrees to help her. When the guards come looking for Ally, the girls hide behind a trunk. They wait until the men are gone before entering the house and opening the door for Robbie too. The group discusses what to do and they realize they can't go to the cops or the press because their parents control everything with bribes. Trying to escape in a car would only send the cops after them. Their only option is to stop everything. After getting a knife, Ally and Brooke go to the lab and destroy all the bags of blood. On their way out, they hear classical music and follow it into a fancy office. On a laptop, the trailer for the Elysium project is playing. Suddenly they hear a noise and a man appears behind them. Ally realizes this is Dr. Volker, the scientist from her nightmares. When he starts talking in Russian, the girls run away. On the cameras, Robbie sees that the guards are going after the girls. However, when he tries to call his sister to warn her, a guard takes his phone. The girls keep running through the corridors trying to find an exit and eventually discover another lab. There are 3 large tubs with bodies in them, and Ally realizes they're her clones. The Elysium project will only be possible by making a franchise out of her. Ally grabs a tool and starts hitting the tubes, so Volker rushes in to try to stop her. Brooke immediately hits him once to bring him down, and continues to strike him to shut him up. After several hits, Ally breaks the tubes and the clones fall out, so she hits them on the head multiple times to kill them. When the girls try to leave, a guard surprises them and captures Brooke. Ally threatens him with a knife so her parents try to calm her down. After Brooke tells them they got rid of the clones, Ally threatens to self-delete if they don't cooperate. Jeff agrees to play along but asks for just 10 minutes to talk. Georgia takes Brooke upstairs and calls her pilot to get the private jet ready. She also asks for a man to get rid of the siblings. In the garden, Jeff explains that he never wanted to be a father but Ally brought him lots of joy. He swears he cares about her the most and tries to hug her, but she keeps him at bay with a knife. When she threatens to self-delete again, Jeff jumps on her and tries to take the knife from her. After some struggle, Ally stabs Jeff and he collapses. She immediately regrets it and wants to get help, but Jeff tells her to stay and apologizes before passing out. As Ally has a breakdown, Georgia rushes to her husband's side and notices there's still a pulse. She tells Ally to help him, but Ally refuses and tries to walk away. A furious Georgia tackles her and they fall into the pool, where they start fighting. Ally is younger and has more stamina, so Georgia tries to climb out of the pool. However, Ally drags her back and ties the rope of her chair around her mother's neck before pushing her underwater. After just a few seconds, Georgia is unconscious. When Ally tries to leave, Georgia wakes up and grabs her. Ally manages to reach the knife and slashes her mom's neck, finally killing her. Afterward, Ally comes out of the pool and tells the guards that since she's the sole heir of the family fortune, they work for her now. She orders them to take care of both bodies before going inside. A year later, a healthy Ally is telling guests that her parents died in a yachting accident. She's still planning to open Elysium, but her plan is a proper health facility for children no matter their financial status. Brooke joins her and shares that their company has used Ally's blood to develop cures for cancer, lupus, and diabetes. At that moment, Ally gets a call from Robbie, who can walk again since he was the first test subject. He's been exploring the underground lab because it's bigger than it looks. Now he's found a new room filled with hundreds of Ally clones. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.